Alright guys, so what I'm going to be doing, well, first of all, welcome back to Blue Rose Minis, and today I am going to be painting up, Death Company using contrast paints. Now I have one done already. I think he looks pretty okay. I'm gonna show you the tips and tricks that I use, because I am very selective when it comes to the contrast paints. I try not to paint what's not needed to be that color. So Death Company is obviously primarily black, and I went ahead and got this using the contrast paint Black Templar. But as you can see, I left a lot of white. I did that because it's just going to be easier for me to paint those areas the color that they need to be. Like this is going to be red, and some other colors are going to be put on here. So I just find that easier. And I went ahead and left his chest unpainted because I wanted to show you how I get such detailed work with contrast paint using only a small tip brush. Now this one's on the longer side. You can get one that is shorter than this, just so you have more control. I like this because I can see what I'm doing and it's not obstructed by the metal, by this thing. I don't know what the name of this thing is. So that's why I prefer the longer tip one. If you're not comfortable with the longer tip one, you can go ahead and use a shorter one, but as I said, I prefer not to use it because it obstructs my vision. Okay, so going in, let me get you guys a better angle for this. So again, we're just going to be using Black Templar. So give it a nice shake as always. And get just a small amount on your brush, like that. And then we are just going to very carefully work around. Everything we do not want to be Templar black. Now of course this is the more complicated way of doing things. I find that it's easier if you find this to be a little too complicated for you, then you can go ahead and use the normal method, in which case you just paint the entire model using a Templar black and then using gray sheer or sheer gray, however it's pronounced. You can just go ahead and repaint the items you want to be a different contrast paint. But I do it this way just because it saves an extra step, and contrast paint takes a long time to dry. So I find that this is just easier. When it comes to drying time, you don't have to wait so long, and you could just get it on the battlefield quicker. But I mean, this is not perfect. Like, see on one of the droplets for Death Company, I did get some Black Templar on it. If you make little mistakes like that, it's no big deal. It's an easy fix. Then here I am just going over, like same thing on the helmet for the little skull on the forehead. having a nice slim brush like this really helps. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just so you guys can get a better view of what I'm doing. Now this first coat does not have to be perfect. You can try to make it perfect if you want, but it's not necessary. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in just so you guys can... Next we're going to be taking this yellow. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of this yellow because I know I'm going to butcher it, and I don't want to mess up the name, okay? Okay, so it's been about an hour, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this model up. So going in with Black Templar and taking the square brush. Just gonna go ahead and start carefully recovering this in black. First starting with this little cross section. The power fist. And then I'm just gonna work my way around everything else. And with that, he is almost completed. Now, in the next video, I'm going to go ahead and detail him with some normal brushes, which is why I left a lot of things blank and white and just blah, because I know I can get better detail if I do it the normal way. But I'm going to go ahead and let him dry for about another hour, and then I'm going to come back and show you the finished result. Alright guys, it's been about another hour. He is fully dried. I'm gonna go ahead and detail him up the normal way, but this is how he looks so far. Just pin it up in contrast paints. I say that that's pretty good. It does take some time to get it to this level. And not to mention the drying times itself is hectic. I had to wait about an hour each for each application of contrast paint that I put on to dry, which is why I just put on multiple contrast paints at once and just kind of did a cleanup.
Okay guys, so now that I have about 6 contrast paints on this, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a little bit of normal Citadel paints, starting with Lead Belcher, to go ahead and detail up the gun and bring it to life. So just being very careful. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit all of the silver on this Belcher gun. And if you're like me and you're not very used to using contrast, then you are going to need to go over some colors with some original Citadel colors. Like I'm doing right here, I'm going to go ahead and hit the model with Mephiston Red, because there was just some places and some details I could not get to using the contrast paint. So I'm just fixing up those mistakes now. And to be fair guys, this is only the second model I have painted with contrast paint, so it's a little choppy in some areas. So next, because I didn't have a nice brown in the contrast paints, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this little band around his thigh with Deathclaw Brown. And I'm going to try to spookify the little skulls he has on his belt as well, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah guys, like I was saying, I'm not very familiar with contrast paints. I normally just stick to my normal paints, but I thought I'd throw a video like this up for you guys. And as you guys can see, I am just fixing up any yellow mistakes I made with Uriel Yellow. Just brightening it up And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of dry brushing to get more of the finer details and highlights. So just going in with Dawnstone using a very light touch. I don't want too much, I just want the most sharpest details to come out of this using this color. So I am going back and forth on certain areas to try to build up the color a little bit more, but not trying to get it to stand out too much. That'll be the job for the next dry painting that we do. Alright, so once I'm satisfied with the Dawnstone, I'm gonna go ahead and take a moment to make sure I get all of the color out of my brush. Then I'm gonna go in with some Necron compound. This will make this Death Company Marine look like he has been through battle and he has some scrapes and the paint is coming off of his armor and his bolters, and it's gonna really give him that nice finite detail that I really like to do on my models. And again, I'm just doing as light of a dry brush with this as I can. Necron compound is a really strong color, so I advise caution whenever you use it. And of course, we can't leave without finishing up the little teardrop, blood, whatever you want to call it, up without adding some white scar to it to give it that nice gem look. Because let's be serious, unless they just got out of battle, they're not going to have blood dripping on them, right? Unless that's how they roll, in which case, no judgment here. And so here he is, the first model I've ever painted using both contrast and normal paints. I think he turned out pretty well. Personally, I think I'm still terrible when it comes to using contrast. It's just so foreign and unfamiliar to me. But if you enjoy contrast, then go ahead and leave that down in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification. And I hope you have a great day.